Hoping that you're having a wonderful day. I am back again with Karingaki. I've been studying like crazy. Well, not like super crazy, but I've been studying a lot between now and the last stream. And what I've been trying to figure out is, have I been cutting correctly thus far? And if so, like, how am I going to apply this in Live2D? So, in terms of cutting correctly, the answer is yes and no. The no part is, like, for example, let's look at her eyes at very close. If you look at her right eye, for example, you can see that I kind of cut her, this like eyelid part, as part of her right eye. Whereas when I did her left eye, I was very careful to leave that out. And like, you want this part to like close over her eye. So like it should be in its own layer. And I haven't done that yet. So that's something that's going to be problematic. As for her hair pieces being each their own layer, that was actually good. And like each piece of her hair being like its own layer is going to be good as well. I kind of outpainted a bit too much over here, but like it's kind of like lopsided. But I don't think anyone will actually like see that part per se, so I think it'll be okay, but we won't know until we actually put that into the rigging. So as I'm getting close to at least being able to try some of the rigging, I'll probably, if I have time today, like import into Live2D and go over some things. But another thing that is important to note is that if you look at the number of layers we have, I've been working fairly hard on having like everything being distinct. So, wait. Like her ornament being one piece is bad. Like I need to cut that. Like this chain, like this hanging down part should be a second, like its own layer. So that is something I need to fix. I just wanted to get a few of these things out of the way at first. And additionally, the way that the layering works is I have it organized just from top to bottom right now, just for the sake of like, I had it organized from top to bottom for the sake of just like my general organization. But something I do want to note is that if I do that, for example, like if I move her eyes underneath like the main layer, you can see that like her eyelashes disappear because her head is now on top. And you can see like where I've kind of inpainted behind her hair as well, so that like you have that kind of in shading. So it's like kind of transparent, but still like a thing. Before you export, you do want to organize your layers so that they are front to back before you import into Live2D, because that's a very important element. They will render in the order that they are layered, so you want to make sure that that is correct and you don't have weird ordering precedences like that. And it's easier to fix it in the PSD or a CSP file than it is to fix it in Live2D. Just because then you don't have to do it. Remember, like when you come back to edit, you don't have to fix it again. That said, today's major objectives are, if we like hide her hair, and we hide her face and head, you can see that we need to kind of like, her hair is, let's put her hair back in. You can see that if we drop down in her hair, we have each of these being its own individual piece. We want that to actually, that's the case, but we also want the back of this hair to be like its own piece as well. And these two pieces as well need to be their own thing. And the back of her hair needs to be its own piece as well. Hi, Tachi! I'm glad to see you. Oh, BRB dinner. Okay. I will put on the chill music again. I just wanted to kind of get a lot of these technical things over without like the background music. So really what I want to do today is, you see like how her hair comes down like that. I want to cut that into its own layer. That's going to make me have to inpaint her skin behind it, which is going to be a little rough. I'm not really good at that. And if we zoom in, you can kind of see like there's a lot of gradient going on here that'll make this a little difficult. So, and then we'll also want to like extend her neck a little bit. Because when you like turn your head, you want to like see the base of your neck, not empty space. So that said, let's hide her eyes. And then so what I'm also curious about is I don't think I in-painted her hair again after I cut the eyelashes out, so you can see like there are pieces missing there. So I'm gonna have to fix those as well. There's a lot of work to do. Theoretically. So probably just gonna go ahead and start with that. Then hopefully after that I can cut these two pieces out, cut the back out, and then in paint here. This part's easy because it's literally just it's mostly one color, so it shouldn't be as bad. But we'll see. Hi Rich, glad you could come by. I'm just briefly going, hi you cake! Glory to mankind. TV would be proud. Oh, I'm glad that you like this stream. So yeah, I was just going over some of the more technical things that I have to deal with Aki. And I'll probably stop, even if I'm like not all the way through, like 30 minutes to the end, to kind of like show a little bit of why all of the cutting was important and kind of start talking about the different tools so that we can kind of go into next stream potentially with that fresh in mind and potentially do some rigging. So, all that said, hope you can sit back, relax, ask any questions that you come up with, and while I continue working, and stay tuned. Hopefully we can get through some of the cutting things. Not just cutting, but maybe even start some rigging today. Alright, here we go. So first up, I'm going to start with, this is the right central? Yeah. Let's fix the right central hairpiece by in-painting with like this line here. I could have sworn that I in-painted this before, which feels kind of weird. Interesting because like if you look really close, like up here is lighter, but like immediately south of that is darker. So you've got to look very, very close at this to get like the right color gradation. Let's turn up the brightness as well so you can really see the difference. So, how have your days been? Everything going well, I hope? Can you post a picture here? And if the bot yells at you, I'll do permit on you again, just in case. I also didn't know that you drew. Today I learned. Let's have a look at this. Oh, it's really good actually. You shouldn't undersell yourself. You did a great job. Congrats. I would show it on stream, but I don't want to do that without asking first. But. It's really nice. Oh, this is definitely not. This is not the way. This is not the way. See what I mean about like this little part kind of being hard because like there's so much gradient in it. First off, let's do dividing lines. There's actually so much gradient in this one part. I am impressed all over again at like Yavi's skill. I wonder if Yavi has ever come past one of these. Inpainting advice would be invaluable. Yeah, I wouldn't use the Steam Deck for drawing. That's pretty small. Like, especially if you want to be like serious and like try hard. Like, not try hard in, like, the negative sense, but, like, actually, like, as in the sense of putting forth effort. Like, serious amounts of effort. I don't like how, like, significant this lining looks. I don't know how good it would be either, but it's just a matter of... Considering the magnification I usually am working at, if I'm like trying to do something, it feels like the deck just wouldn't be my tool of choice. there we go. That's starting to look better. It's like these little striations that like come down. It looks so cool. I don't know how Yemi did this. Let's do a blend actually, and just fingertip it across. I remember this one. I haven't heard this one in a while. I don't think I'll let this part up with blending. I'm gonna do it actually. Like, I don't know. For me, it's like unsatisfying because it's like I don't know how to get the color blending right to like do the original justice. And then like her hairpiece, no less. So it'll be like something fairly obvious. Like right here. And then we wanna like reestablish this part. I don't know. I feel like maybe right here, this part. Let's blend this downward some more. You still need to finish Persona 5? Are you playing the base game or Royal? Is it fun? I don't know why, but like I tried getting into Persona and I couldn't. And then I very, very quickly burned myself out because I was like, I want to do a first playthrough max all social links. In Persona 3 Portable. Yes. Which meant that like since you know you have to do Tartarus within like yes. It was very painful. For example, I think the week that I burned out on was it was like I only had time to go to Tartarus twice for an entire month of in-game time. So I had to get to like, and I was like level I think 15 when I went in there. At think I was like level 36 when I came out. It was... And then I ended up like losing a good chunk of that because like I'd been putting the game in sleep mode because you can't save in there. And yeah, I lost progress. And I was just like, this isn't it. This is not it. This is not it, friends. It was suffering. It wasn't fun. Because you know me, I kind of have this, I have the love-hate relationship with always trying to optimize things.
That's not my business.
That timing was absolutely hilarious. That's not my business. Let's do journal blending. It look like I didn't even paint up there. Why does it look bad now? Maybe it's just my imagination. Okay. Let's do her central face. Persona 4? I didn't think Persona 4 had a royal. For some reason this music reminds me of Tales of Symphonia. Like one of the ice towns or dungeons. Wait, why are you getting 5 in a row? It should only go for like a minute and a half at most. I just need to inpaint the edge here. I feel like I accidentally picked this playlist before in like a previous stream. I thought I had picked a new one. because I cut it, so it lost some of those edges. I want to go back over this again with like a slightly stronger edge. There we go. And this line thins a little bit unnatural, unfortunately, so let's thicken just this part. That gives it like a little crisp end tip. I feel like as time has gotten by, I've been getting like very steadily better at inpainting. You get McDonald's ads here, and in Pokemon it's always something else. What Pokemon ad are you stream are you watching? Favorite ever. I played the crap out of it. I played it so much, every day. It's also the first time I ever saw a shiny Pokemon, and then it ran away from me. Yes, I have. Are you asking me? I have seen Taken. Okay. If you were looking for a lewd stream, I can tell you this is not it. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me an enigma to people like you. If you click off my stream now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will game for you, I will comment for you, and most of all, I will entertain you. That was a great rewrite for it, Tachi. Great job. So, in case you're unfamiliar, Taken is a movie, very briefly, about a essentially retired assassin whose daughter gets kidnapped. And the kidnappers are on the phone, like, threatening to harm his daughter in exchange for him doing what they want him to do. And he gives this very memorable speech that says, like, if you're looking for a lot of, I think it's like, he's like, if you're looking for a lot of money, I don't have it. But what I do have is a very particular set of skills that I've honed over a very long career. The skills that make me a terror to people like you. If you return my daughter, this will be the end of it. I will not look for you, I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will kill you. It's a very good speech. So Tachi made a cool one. That's like a bit more. I might make that like a stream intro, actually. Like, you know those videos that they say like, here, make this video so that people who like come by your channel when you're not around can like get a feel for you. I might add it. I might do this. I might do that for this. Like re-record it and use that as like a stream intro. I think that looks good. I think I'm getting better at inpainting. Can you tell where it was like messed up before? Like, I can still see it, but I don't think anyone else can see it. Oh, that's true. Let's grab this slightly darker one. There we go. Let's grab this one for like a red at the brink. Just do a little bit here. We'll grab one from here. Yes, that's the original. And that's why Tots was asking if I'd seen Taken. Does anyone else find it extremely satisfying when like good line work comes together? It's like, yes, this is what I was actually trying to do. I'm glad you approve and share my excitement. I'm like not sure what tone I should read that in. The next time I like say it. This definitely is stuff that got mixed in when I did the original cut. Let's just sharpen up the line work. Can you see where I was doing my work at? You, Tachi? Oh, okay. That's fine. If you can't see, that's a good thing though. It's even better. Fully rigging her is going to take me a very long time. I want to see it too. Maybe more than anyone. Oh no. Whoops. I have to undo all of this. Okay. Because I did it on the wrong layer. Because I'm stupid. This is why you always check what layer you're currently working on, friends. It's important. Exactly. Knowing what set of layers you're on is quite important. Okay. anyways, the next couple things that I need to do are grabbing this hairpiece, grabbing the other hairpiece. Also, I found out something unfortunate. The level of precision that I've been cutting with so far actually means that I have to use Live2D Pro. Like, it won't let you keep as many layers as I'm making. Like, my goal here, I'm gonna try a different technique for like cutting, which is like I want to draw just around the outer edge of what I eventually want to cut out, and then like kind of like lasso in between them. I want to see if it works. I kind of want to stay on like the dark outside. Erase and like deselect? No. Okay. I wonder if this will like even work, but I have to try. My brush can't get any smaller or it turns into like single pixel select. See how long her like hair thingy is though? Like, it's so long. Maybe I shouldn't be like grabbing the like outermost edge of this. We'll see. But like my problem is like, you see how like if I zoom out, I start getting like such bad quality and selection that it's like I have to end up redoing it. It's like better to take my time and like really. So, like, I watched someone doing, like, really detailed rigging, and for a model who doesn't really move her arms or legs much, it still took them like 28 hours. And they're like a professional rigger. So I'm like, I'm a little scared about how long it's gonna take me. This looks like I'm doing a bad. Yeah, this is a bad. Oh no, I need to back all the way up. Okay, I would say select wise. Let's just take out this row and like stick to like the super dark one. Like the outer. If like, but like the cool part is, remember I showed like Chai being edited the first time. It was actually that person's video. So I'm like super excited to use that. There's also, oh, duh, messed up. There's also someone else who makes very like bite-sized tutorials that are really good. Their channel is called Kapako. And she makes like really, really bite-sized content that's like still very easy to follow for getting rigging and stuff done. So highly recommend if you are interested in like, if you feel like this is too complicated, give me like the 5-minute breakdown version of this. Highly recommend looking at Kapako's channel. I think her channel is actually called just Kapako channel. Which makes me wonder, should I like rename mine to like Aki channel when I finally finish? Yes, she does. We will be staring at them quite a lot in future streams because I will have to cut and eventually rig them. So, yeah. Get used to it now. Sugoi dekai. I know there was like a really, like people had like a huge controversy over the character who wears that t-shirt. I don't remember why though, and I never watched the show that it was from, so I know like nothing. I think her name was like Uzuki-chan or something like that. Being wholesome, so I didn't remember. I didn't really look into it too much. Does anyone know about that? So she's a short stack. I fail to see why that like sparked so much. That's not true. My mom can attest to that. She's like, well, she's not like Uzuki short, but my mom is like 5'4", 5'3", something like that. She's small, but does have big boobs. Yuyake apparently has really, really nice melon as well. Very nice melon. No. That is not where I keep my foxfire. Oh, I see. That would make sense. Like, taken just out of context, I don't, like, see what just being short had to do with it. But if it was, like, in the middle of, like, a blood drive. Like, I get why they do that, just because it's, like, nice to have... It, like, encourages people to, like, you know, come out and give blood and all that, but... Honestly, I feel like since it gets so thin at the end, like, it probably would have been less effort to just do, like, the broad thing that I usually do, and then, like, just clean the edges up. Okay. See you when you get back. Oh, it's one of these. Oh yeah, this is easily gonna take like another hour. I wonder if I can like yeah, I could zoom out, but like I don't want to get sloppy. But yeah, I'll definitely talk a little bit about rigging at the end of today. Because I did it really early in, but like I kind of want to go over like the tools and kind of like show why, now that I have more layers and can actually like give worked examples. Maybe it's like kind of easier here to like see which is which. Welcome back. What were you gonna say? I wanted to try like this new approach just on this one strand of hair, but I like picked the worst possible like structure to do it on. Just cause like really like small hair strands like this are like really finicky. And like it would be a lot easier to just lasso it and then just like take out the part rather than go around the outside and then like easily lasso everything inside, because you know, if I just lassoed around the outside I would have done that in the first place. That was my theory, but I just wanted to try on like this one part of her hair to see if it would like work out. Because what I would usually do is like, you see, I would be like, add to selection. I would just be like grab all this stuff. And if there's like holes in the middle, just like circle this. And see, like, that's a lot faster. Those last two don't feel quite right. Like, see what I mean? Like, how much faster this part is? So yeah, I think I'll just do like one of... Cause see, like, now I have to like fix all the little holes that are like between this edge and like the original. So yeah, this actually is a lot worse. Like, I was wondering if there was like a can you highlight a section and then like pick everything inside of it? Like draw around the outside, which is slightly different from lasso. Trying new things is how we learn. Kind of like drag against the edge there. I'll have to come back up to the top after to get precise, but... Oh, you forgot what you were gonna say? Is there an achievement for petting it more than everyone else? Or just a fixed number of times? Petzado? Or Matsuo? Not that I can think of. What? Like from Mabi? Not that I can think of. Why do you ask? I mean, you saw how it worked. Gear really isn't that bad. It's just don't mess up and don't panic. Yeah. You'll also hear it like a very loud chime. Wah, 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 wah. Like wah, 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 wah. Like something like that. But like more aggressive. And you'll see like energy gathering around its feet. And it like crouches down. It's really not that bad. I'm sure there are guys on YouTube. I did not want to do that. It's hilarious because like every time I think I'm like super close to being able to like go like, oh yeah, let's go do rigging today. It's like, actually you forgot something. And it's like, oh no, what did I forget? Because like, see how like there's shadow? I don't think this is technically like a part of her hair. It's like the shadow underneath. I'm like having a bit of trouble deciding if I want to like include that. Well, technically I should, yes. Let's do this part. Oh, I'm gonna have to inpaint behind this, aren't I? Behind the upper hair part. This reminds me of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. There's this level I absolutely despised. It was called like, what was it? Somehow I'm blanking on the name now. But it was a very desolate level. And it was like, you're visiting a place that essentially used to be a thriving town. If you haven't played that game, the plot of Crystal Chronicles is that the world has been overtaken by miasma. And the miasma hurts you like crazy and then will eventually like kill you and turn you into a monster if left unchecked. So there's a story about a bunch of people who, the only way to prevent the miasma from doing this, and therefore like the only way to have a civilization, is that you set up these large crystals that have the capability to repel the miasma. But the crystals will dull over time. And if you don't give them enough energy, I mean, if you don't purify them, then they'll eventually cloud over and stop providing protection against the miasma. So the idea is that you form every year people form caravans consisting of up to 8 adventurers that go out and like find myrrh trees. But like something about the trees attracts monsters, and they kind of like want to settle around it. It's kind of like the like lingering instincts of them as people, driving them on to like crowd around what is essentially like what used to be a source of safety. It just doesn't do anything for them anymore because, you know, they're monsters now and it's a bit too late for them. But the idea is you are playing as one of those so-called caravans, and your goal every year is to go fetch a chalice full of myrrh. And if you can make it to one of these trees that I just mentioned, you can gather about 1/3 of a chalice from a given tree, but each tree takes like 3 years to like generate that much myrrh. So like you can only visit a given tree once every like 3 years to get myrrh from it. And obviously, like the ones that are closest to towns have the least monster population, but are also like the least interesting. So you're kind of working on figuring out, how do we know, like, how can we best obtain myrrh? And how can we, you know, and eventually you start finding journal clues that tell you into, like, technically the miasma isn't natural. It's actually, like, the result of something else. Spoiler alert, giving you a fair bit of warning now. So, in actuality, the miasma is essentially being generated by this being that feasts on memories. And the reason, like, no one knows this is because anyone who's ever encountered it has had all of their memories eaten and then, like, wandered aimlessly around and turned into a monster. So the thing is, their chalice that you hold can also be enchanted with different elements, where between different areas of the world there are areas called miasma streams. These streams prevent you from entering and are like concentrated tunnels of miasma that have a particular elemental affiliation. And if your chalice is the wrong element, if you try to walk in, like, you have to hold your chalice over your head while you're carrying it through here. If your chalice is the wrong element, the fearsome waves of the miasma will actually, like, push you back. You won't get hurt, but like, you physically can't pass through the tunnel. But if you have the right elemental attunement, then the chalice will shine, and then right as it gets too intense, it would normally start pushing you back. It will make a shield that kind of gets rid of the resistance for the most critical part, allowing you to progress through. And then you can leave the other side. They're very late in the game. You get access to an area that is essentially a town that had adventurers, all of their adventurers died in their journey for myrrh. And generally because, you know, they only set out when it's like, we need myrrh this year. If we don't have any myrrh this year, then our like, crystal will die. Like, our town crystal will die. So that particular town, their adventurers all died that year. So no one came back with any murder to replenish the crystal. So their crystal died. And naturally, this killed everyone in the town. They all turned into monsters. So it's this very gloomy area that kind of like is a ruined city. And then that's not actually the area that I hate. That's like the background for that area. The area that I hate is that inside, like next to that city, there is like an abandoned swamp from which like the biggest amount of miasma that threatened that town was coming from. And there was a gigantic like swamp essentially filled with like otherworldly mist and dangerous monsters that a researcher was sitting there working on. And so throughout the game you can actually find letters from this researcher. Like you can actually get in correspondence with them. Like you meet them pretty early in, and they're like going on a journey to kind of figure out how the miasma works and if there can be anything done to help against it. So they actually get here before you do, and they have a personal crystal, but they're like, so I've been exploring here and I have a theory, but I don't, since I'm on my own, I don't have anyone to test it, so I'm just going to let you know what I'm going to try. I found that like this area is so thoroughly contaminated with miasma that even the liquid, like the water in this area has been fully contaminated, and it's like full of miasma. And I'm like, and he's like, I'm gonna run experiments on this to see if by analyzing the water, if I can find a way to like purify the water, if we could potentially use that to help build resistance against the miasma. So naturally you're like, okay, cool. And the person's like, I'm actually running out of supplies here, and it's a very long way to go back. And unfortunately, the elemental affiliation of the miasma tunnel switches every year. And they were like, I got so caught up in my research that I don't have a way back. And my crystal's the wrong element to like get back to my hometown. So I'm kind of stuck here. And all of my supplies are starting to run low. So I don't have any choice but to like forage around this area. But like the biggest thing is that I already said like the water is full of miasma. I've been studying it. Like I tried drinking in it and it burned like heck, and it was like awful, and it like felt poisonous. But soon I might have no choice but to keep drinking it. So like as you keep getting letters from them, they're like, okay, like I managed to forage around here, and like, so the food isn't as bad. Like it feels like my body's acclimating to it, and the water doesn't, like the water is still bad, but like it's not as bad as when I started. I feel like if I keep at this, then I might actually be building like a natural immunity to the miasma. And you're like, oh cool, this like seems like it's going well. And then like the next letter you get from them, their handwriting starts getting really jerky, and like they start having like random caps in their letters, and like essentially like looks like they're like spasming while they're writing. And they're like, I'm starting to feel kind of funny, like I don't know like what's happening, but I'm constantly thirsty now, and the water here isn't really enough, but it's also the only thing that I have, so I guess I'll have to keep drinking it. And then like later that year you get like one last letter from them, and it's just like written in like almost like this weird like chicken scratch, like almost indecipherable handwriting that's like super jerky, and it's just like thirst, need blood. No, it doesn't say need blood. I just wanted to be creepy about it. But it's just like so thirsty, need more. And like the paper's all scratched up and like messed up. And if you go to that swamp after you get this letter, you don't get any more from them. But if you go to that swamp that I was telling you about, there's actually a new enemy there. And it's like a Sahagan, which is like a fish water person. And if you kill it, it drops a bell. And if you like paid attention to that person's letters, you'll know that like that bell was like one of their keepsakes, and it was like their memento of their child. So the implication is that like they succumbed to miasma poisoning through drinking too much of the poisoned water and turned into a monster. But that's not necessarily why I hate that zone. I think that's a cool bit of lore that like makes the zone more interesting. Like, it's very sad, yes, but it's also like, this is kind of like a bleak world, so it's very in tone for the world as a whole. But the part that I hate is that that place is overrun with zombies and a mist, so it's like kind of maze-like. It's a pain to learn how to navigate. But like, the way that magic works in that game is interesting. You find, like, every level is kind of roguelike in a way. Like, you can't bring most things that you find in a level with you to the next level. You instead, through finding and opening treasure chests in the level, or by getting certain points thresholds, like for taking actions while in that level, which change every time you enter the level, you can earn points. And then once you clear the level, you will get to collect all of the treasures and artifacts that you picked, but you will only get to pick one of them to take with you. But it permanently is part of your inventory from then on. And the way that magic works in that game is you have to find spheres of magicite. And using a sphere of magicite allows you to, use the spell associated with that magicite. So the tricky part is that the game also lets you do like spell combinations of, if you equip two magicite next to each other that have like relevant effects, you can fuse their magic and get a better spell out of it. But since magicite is a collectible, you can't take magicite that you found with you when you leave. So there is technically a way to get but as a result, there's no such thing as MP. It's just you have to find the magicite in the level before you can cast that spell. But as a result of this change, though, there is an interesting thing that there are artifacts called rings. They're super rare. There's no... Like, the only indication that these exist is a random letter that you can find, like, in a side area somewhere that's like... I've heard legends that there are rings embedded with magicite that are stable, that will allow casting of magic of the associated magicite. I do not know if these even exist, and I do not know where to find them. But I hope that there is some credence to this rumor. And this game you could play with co-op, but it was also one of those games that had it was on the GameCube and it had Game Boy Advance integration. So if you wanted to do multiplayer, you actually needed a Game Boy a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Advance SP to plug in to actually, play with things. To actually, And if you were playing by yourself, you could just pick to fuse and activate any combinations of magicite that were in your inventory. But if you were in multiplayer, you weren't allowed to fuse magicite directly. The only way that you could do it was by you and another player having to cast the spells of the corresponding magicite at the same time, at the same place. And if you did it properly, they would fuse. I think this is good enough. No. I am editing on the wrong layer. So let's go down to this layer. And cut and paste. But this is her, right? So right, frontal. I forgot what these are called. Does anyone know what they're called? Like when your hair is down like this? It's not a pigtail because those are like in the back. Or like, and it's not a twin tail because those are on the side. What is this? Does anyone know? No, these are side bangs. Like, I mean, like this long part that like hangs down here. I guess I'll just call them like long, I don't know, long bangs. I don't know. Oh, I see what the problem is. How do I feel? How do I want to cope with this? It doesn't take that long to install Linux. Like, what's the worry? You have miasma breath. That's very dangerous. Because, like, the problem is, like, if my hair can, like, swing around, I probably want my skin to just be, like, normal underneath it. But, like, at the resting point, I kind of want, like, the shadow there, too. How do I fix this? I could color in, like, down here. enough here. Like, here's the thing, like, I'm not sure if I want to, like, this is something I'm probably gonna have to, like, come back and revisit later. Like, I'm not sure if I want to, like, make her skin, like, discolored and, like, not deform her hair that much so that, like, the hair shadow is, like, in its own layer. Or if I want to just, like, keep it, like, skin tone colored and then, like, figure out shadowing later. Locks, that's the name for them, thank you. It's like weird because like this is the style that I wear IRL too. And I was like, why can't I remember what these pieces of hair are called? And I was like playing with them. And I was like, I know they're not bangs because that's what's over my forehead. But what are they? Thank you, Tachi. Yeah, I think I'll just go with like normal skin tone for now, but like the hard part is like because this kind of goes into like the gold, like the unknown abyss. I have to like inpaint her like choker too, and I'm just a bit scared about that because, as we've already established, I'm not a great artist. Be very slow and gradual because I needed to This is actually like a really hard inpainting set. I didn't think about the color that would have to be behind her. Of course you're gonna have a sudden case of sleepies. This is the perfect stream for that. It's the music plus just the endless chatter. Got so sleepy that you feel like you're gonna like actually fall asleep? How does this line look? It's not bad, but obviously it needs to be like thicker, but that doesn't look bad in terms of like where it is. Yeah, I did not think at all about like this section, which is absolutely nightmarishly hard. I like how like I haven't even started on like the back in painting of her hair, and I was like, oh yeah, I could probably do that in like an hour. To be fair, I forgot about her locks. Oh, no, that's huge. Oh, no, stop. That's way too big of a brush. I need precision. shadow now. I'm sorry, I try to stay calm during this, but this is a much higher level of challenge. What is that? Look compared to like the other side. Oh god, I'm gonna have to do it on the other side too. Existing is pain pickle. I don't think that looks too bad. What do you think? Like, it's intentionally darker because it's supposed to be like under shadow. But I think I'm gonna do smaller brush. And have like a little bit of inroads into it to like show that it's like the edge of her hair, like the edge of her hair creating a shadow. And then maybe some like streaks through here. Just to add like a little bit of extra. Like make them like look. I don't know. We'll see if it works out once I finish like coloring and everything. I do think it was funny where it was like, you know, if I worked really hard at this, I could probably be done in like a month. I mean, theoretically the answer is yes. That's technically true. It's just it would be like an actual month of effort in terms of like hours invested. Speaking of which, everyone, I think we've just passed. This is session 7. Each 7 has been 2.5 hours at the minimum. I think a couple I went over. So including all of my study time, we've actually passed the 20-hour mark. I wonder if like those who cut and draw their own stuff are like proud of me. Or are they like, oh, you poor child, you've only just begun? I don't think this looks bad though. I fucked up. I did fuck up. Ugh. I forgot about the white part. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna want this extending upward along the boundary. Though I guess technically, like I can just paint over and it's not that big of a deal. That thinned out the line a little bit too much. I'm zoomed out too far. Let's go back in. Shadow behind her hair. Looks like I cut too close. There we go. Section is actually like so hard. part's a lot thicker than I thought it would be. Something like that. sorta. I want to like rotate the entire canvas. And I remember there was like a way to do that, but I don't remember how. How do I rotate? Is it this? Yeah, it's like this. Okay. Look at me getting fancy. And everyone's like, oh, you just now thought about rotating? And I'm like, yes, yes. Oh, it's minus. Okay. So like zoomed out. Yeah, that looks kind of like what I was going for. I just need to zoom in and like actually fix all of the issues I left behind. And then I'm going to use blending to blend the edges of those together. So I just kind of wanted to get a general feel before I really went and plugged in all the holes to make sure that this was looking like it should, theoretically. This should also be like a bit thicker around here. And kind of come up a bit more. This feels like a more regular now. then maybe like I want this to be like just a tad darker gray, like right across the top to give it like a edge, like shoulder shadow sort of thing, like that. I think this helps me like get a better perspective for it. Down to like the last 30 minutes of allocated time. I really need to like set aside more time to do this each week. I just need to find like time in the schedule to like actually do it. And I definitely want to make sure that I like blend all of like the edges between the different gradients. Okay, that's not too bad in terms of like comparison to like where what I started with. I'm not great, but it's not good, but it's not bad. Though this part is a lot thicker than I thought, so I should like really inherit that thickness then. Though it's also like perspective. It's not quite right there. Okay, I think that'll do for now at least. giant area down here to do. For now, honestly. Trying to like figure out exactly like where the color gradient I want to use starts and ends. So I don't really like how uniform that looks. I will, regardless of how this is going, I'm gonna stop at like 8:20 to like talk a little bit about Live2D. I just want to make sure that I like do get around to talking a little bit about that and like kind of the general principles. Because I showed in the past like how deforming works, but like I've learned a bit more about like how the actual deformer process is supposed to work. What it means to actually rig. Like establishing keyframes, relevance, relative positions, frames of reference, etc., etc. So bad. It was a lot of work, but I don't think it looks that bad. Sweet mother of daylight. That took a long time. I wanna look a bit zoomed out for once. I think I know what I actually want to do. Here, I'm gonna start using finger blending again. And kind of I see like where I need to just seems like there's something on my screen that's... Like, there's something physically on my screen that's making it hard for me to tell. But, like, my screen needs to be cleaned. So, I'll leave that here for now, though. I will potentially have to undo that later. But I think it's relatively okay. So like her neck is already thankfully pretty long, so I was gonna like just lower her head down so that it like rests on this part. Okay, so let's see. I need to figure out how to like get the back of like this back part. Like, the reason why I wanted to cut the frontal locks out was because you see how, like, to get at the back, I need to, like, remove this part, because otherwise this will be part of the back. That's why, like, this has been something I've been working, like, really hard on. So I might actually just do this one part off stream. I'm not sure. I kind of don't really like doing things off stream for this, because I do want someone who came in with like zero knowledge like I did to just kind of, you know, be able to learn from this. Hi to you, how are you today? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for coming by. Hope you are enjoying stream this far. So, yeah, I think I will pause here for now, and let's go ahead and do a save as. I'm saving, sorry. Okay. So another thing is that, let's say I turn all of the layers on. Aki should look fine with all... Wait, where are my foxfires? Okay, there we go. Thank you. Her name is Aki. I'm working very hard on rigging her. Yes, she has flames and nice tails, everything. So, since I can't really do any meaningful work in the remaining time that's left, I'll go ahead and show what I wanted to do. So let's save a duplicate as a PSD. Turn everything on. Okay. Waiting on the export to succeed. And you'll be able to see some of the issues with what I've done thus far with the rigging. So let's switch over to Live2D. Okay. So unfortunately, I can't do everything. I need to pick up the pro version of Live2D Cubism Editor, but I can at least, with the little bit of time I have left, show off a little bit of what I wanted to do. So I'm loading the PSD file right now. Interestingly, you don't get to see the light resolution. I do want to make a full-scale model, but for the sake of just this display, I'll show you a 1/4 scale. So as you can see up here, has all of This area is the part layer. This is where all of your individual parts for your character take place. And this lock button here allows you to, if you're interested in selecting a specific part, like you see how if I do that, I end up clicking all of these different parts that I made. Like generally, if you want to do some precision work on one part, you don't want to like let's, oops, I accidentally grabbed her tail. Let's not do that. Okay. So like for example, like let's say I want to grab her right eye's iris, right? Give me a sec. But since I've cut like every individual piece of her iris out, you can see like there's a lot that I can click on. So like let's say I don't want to click on this highlight right now. I can lock it, and now I won't be able to pick that highlight. So as you can see, it's like making sure that I don't do anything. So generally one of the tips I have is, and that I learned is, if you're going to do work on a particular mesh, make sure that you lock all the other things that are in the vicinity so you don't accidentally end up selecting too many things. Down here is the deformer lock. This is where we're going to want to pick all of the things that actually deform our model. So for example, like if we want to move our right ear, if we like change the angle, you see how it's not really doing anything? That's because we haven't really established any deformers for that yet. But that is something that we're going to do. So I was told that one of the first things you want to do is essentially click everything, and it's okay to leave them in folders. So since I've got everything in one folder, you can pick the whole thing and then make so you see I'm like opening all the folders that I've made. You see I have super organized for what I've already done. And by holding shift and clicking, I can pick everything. As you can see, there isn't like all that much down here because I've mainly been working so hard on her face up here and stuff. But if we then go ahead and click auto mesh, the standard preset, we can create meshes for all of the individual areas, which is pretty cool. Notice how her right eye is not selected here. So we don't want to do that. I want to like expand this. That was because I didn't expand her right ear folder. Let's make sure we do this properly this time. So if we do this, we'll get a standard mesh that kind of encompasses her entire body. The reason we see like so many meshes up here is because I worked really hard on cutting out each individual part. So like even her individual highlights have their own meshes and their own art meshes. But down here, since I haven't done anything else yet, the foxfires individually have components inside of them that have their own art meshes. But the rest of her body is very like low mesh, low polygon count because I haven't cut that yet. So you can kind of see at a glance of just how much of a difference it makes when you work really hard on cutting out particular components and then are able to assign meshes to those components versus if you just generically highlight something. So now you see this has a mesh, which means that now you can activate and play with this thing separately. You see how I was able to move this off and her hair looks normal underneath it. That's because of the inpainting that you've been seeing me do. So now, in terms of like how do you assign meshes, you see how there are like different parameters, right? You can add keyforms to a particular thing if you map that to a particular item.
That's not my business.
Both times this stream, that's not my business coming up has been a hilarious time. So for her eye, for example, this is an eyeball, right? So I want to click this, and I'm going to want to add 2 keyframes. So now if we look at her eye, these 2 keyforms are exactly the same. But what I want to do now is actually move her eye so that we kind of get a feel for like what is the maximum of her X position. And see now if I move it back, we have a, like, this is how her eye will move. And if I want to set the 1.0, I need to like move it, like, let's say over here. The reason that her eye is floating outside of the square is because of the layer order. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of stream, where you want to layer your things such that like they're front to back. So her head should be layered higher than her eye. To see now, it looks like her eye is like looking into the corner. So now if we go back to her eye, you can see that we now have a way to translate her eye left to right across her eyeball. And then what we'll want to do is add one more deformer here. Add a single keyform. Add single keyform. And then now we have 3 like reference positions. One is the original position where her eye should be when it's at rest. Other if she is looking as far to the left as she can and as far to the right as she can. So once that's done, hit adjust. You can actually manually change these. So see, this is actually like slightly off. So I want this to be 0.0, for example, because I want it to be right in the middle. And then if we do change, you can actually pick different parameters. But since I want this to be eyeball X, that's exactly fine. You can also, like, the neat thing is that now that I've done this for her eyeball, right? I can actually copy this and apply it to her other eyeball as well. Like this mesh that applies to this, you can replicate this parameter. And then you see now I have another eyeball X. So you see how now I have this item selected. I can actually go ahead and add 3 keyforms to do the exact same thing. But since I haven't mapped this, in terms of like different things that you want to parameterize, you'll have to like set up each individual motion and each individual keyframe. So like you see how because I made her eyes their own, her iris is their own layer. If I move her eye out, none of the shines are moving with it. And even though I said like this is her natural like, eye position, it's actually a little bit offset. It's supposed to be like right here. It's like her actual natural eye position. So in case your natural position isn't actually like the middle, what you can do is move it around to find where it actually needs to be. Like so in this case, Arthur's natural eye position is probably around. Up and like moved it down slightly too. It should be So if you wanted to do that, you can just kind of figure that out and then do the adjust and manually change it like so. It's pretty convenient if you want to like make sure that your offset is slightly different than usual. So you can see how now like why rigging takes a long time, because you have to kind of manually map different things together. Like I'm gonna want the iris and the right eyelid to kind of move together, but I want the, what do you call it, this to move less than the rest of her eye. So like let's say I want her eye to be all the way over here, then this shine should be like maybe like over here and like a little bit over maybe. But see how like the rest of it hasn't been set yet, so it's not gonna move. I then have to like assign more deformers to each of these things and like change their parameters so that everything will move together. There are also different types of deformers. Like for example, there's the arc deformer, and you usually use the deform path, and you would usually use this for like eyebrows. So like for example, let's use her left eye. So like let's say I want this to be her eyelash, then I would set a deformer along like the curve of her eyelash like so. And then if I like translate that downward, like I haven't made a separate layer of her eye yet, so you can see how like deforming this isn't really doing anything. But you generally want to have like enough points and then you can like assign it so that when you define motions, you can move this and have it like shift alongside with your motion. So I know how I'm not really covering this in a really good way right now, and that's because like I'm kind of rushing because I am at the end of the stream. And I really wanted to make sure that I finished everything first before really getting into this. But another thing is for joints or places where you know like things are going to rotate a lot. Well, I can't really use her up here. I'll use her thing. You can do this, which is a rotation deformer. And this is just... Oh, it doesn't show you the pop-up for it. That's unfortunate. You're allowed to assign like what you actually want the destination part to be. So I'm assigning this to the ornament, and I can tell it to be ornament rotation. And you can see how now there's a circle. And there's a new deformer called ornament rotation. I messed up and accidentally selected my left eye as the base for it, so let's not do that. Because see, I had left my deformer choice over here as this. So instead I'm going to want to pick the full ornament. And then assign rotation deformer. So you can see how now there's like this rotation component. And for this deformer, you can like spin it around or like adjust the tail. But yeah, I haven't really had enough time to fully practice this yet, so I'm still trying to like learn a lot it's pretty interesting in just seeing that even once you've done a little bit, you haven't done all that much. And I left her cross-eyed, so that's kind of funny. And I'm getting like warnings about like not having enough atlases. And I pulled up a texture atlas. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, it's not letting you see it, but okay. I need to add extra windows for this. Let's see. Let's do and I want to make sure that I can actually show this to you. So here is a new pop-up that I've gotten. I don't know if you can see it clearly or not. Let's zoom in somewhere. So this window is called the Texture Atlas that allows the program to kind of figure out what exactly all of your individual textures are. And you can pick automatic layout to look at them and see all the meshes for each of them. Like you can see that I haven't really done that much with the rest of her, so like she's got like an entire like chunk down here as one, but like her face is mostly gone. You can see her foxfires have a few different layers, but like for her face, there's the layout of like each of her hair pieces, her ornament, each of her irises, the whites of her eyes, the selected components, hair pieces, each of the individual like eye shines, all kind of laid out. Generally, when you click on a piece, what you want to do is make sure that if you like, you want the scale to make sure that you can see like if it's at 100 scale, it looks the full size. So it got reduced in size because it's helping it lay it out like this. So eventually I'm going to want everything to be, I'm going to increase the margin to like 30 pixels. So I increased the margin to make it 30 pixels so everything had a little bit more room to spread out and kind of get bigger. Individual components that each have their own mesh for all of the things that I've worked on. So this is also a good way to like make sure that each of your components has been imported correctly and is recognized, and potentially you can move things around in the atlas. As for what you're going to do with that and how you're actually supposed to use all of these things in tandem with each other, that will be for next time. I just wanted to give you like a brief idea of like the tools that we'll be using, which are the warp deformers. This is like a particularly important thing because without a warp deformer assigned to a particular thing, we're not going to be able to actually move something. So see, now that we've got this rotation deformer and a warp deformer assigned to it, you see how I'm able to spin this around its central axis for that warp deformer. The reason it wasn't working earlier was because I didn't assign anything to it. So that was the rotation axis. So see here, like we put a warp deformer on that. You can see it's yanking it around. Generally, what you're going to want to do is make sure that for this reason, you don't want to put rotation deformer, like generally the place you're going to put rotation deformers is going to be on your joints, so that when they when you're moving around or like standing in different ways or motioning, your joints will rotate appropriately. The other component is these deform paths, which are used specifically for like, you're gonna want those on like your eyebrows. You'll also want them along your mouth. Let's do that. So you want them like along the course of your mouth, and that way you can have a lot more fine-grained control over how your mouth will move. So like if I want to smirk, I can like drag this out. I haven't cut her mouth yet separately, so that's why like I can't really show you what I want to with this without like deforming her entire face, which looks kind of awkward. So there's a lot you want to do, and there's a lot more I have to study before I really get ready to dive into this, as you can tell. But I'm like slowly studying. So in terms of like some of the work that I need to do back over in CSP before I can actually do meaningful rigging with this is I need to finish cutting this other hair piece off so I can actually get to the back of her hair without anything in the front of it. I have to like, cut this part of her body out at least, like upper part, so I can get, well, technically I don't need to do that. And then I need to cut this entire part of her hair as something, and then inpaint behind her hair and neck, so that if I turn my head, there's like not empty space back there. And at that point, I will also have to like, she already has her like upper and lower lips, though they don't really exist because like she's happy smirky, like kind of like a small kitty mouth, which is nice. That's what I wanted. It's I'll have to draw like a mouth and a row of teeth. I want her to have like one of the asymmetric fangs, I guess, is what they're called. Or like one side is fanged and the other is not. So I'm going to draw that sometime in a future art stream. And then, so we have quite a lot of work to do left. And like you see how the foxfire here is a little strange. That's because I didn't collapse it fully, and the Live2D has its own way to do glow, but it can't import glow properly. So this is like a thing that this is like a multiplied layer that like helps curve the flame, give it some extra glow that like doesn't render properly here. But yeah, I've been ranting for a little bit, so I think in the future maybe we can start. And what I want to do is like, some of the hard parts are like doing eyes, like doing the face is the hardest part for sure because it's so expressive, and that's the part that most people are going to be looking at most of the time. And once I'm finished with like all of her hair and her face and like her upper body, like essentially maybe like just this part, like her legs are going to be pretty easy to cut because I don't have full body motion capture, so I'll be relatively rudimentary with those. But like I'm planning on getting a thingy that lets me capture my hands as well, so I'll have to be like very specific with cutting each of her fingers out. But until like I can potentially just do like the general face rigging of like her entire hand is one thing, until I actually do get that set up and ready. So she's still a ways away from being fully ready to use on stream, but obviously we're a lot closer than we were before. So hopefully you'll stick around and see this journey through until the end. I don't know if I'll be able to satisfactorily rig it or if I'll end up having to call in someone, but I'm definitely going to put in the effort to study it and kind of really learn how to talk to it, and hopefully the start of next stream I can really go through how to properly map each of these things together. and how you actually assign motion to things. I kind of went over how the different parameters and the key forms are used to help you create animation by creating several key points or keyframes that your motion corresponds to. So you would deform them yourself manually, and then once that deformation is like, yeah, I want this to kind of be like a reference for like how far this can move or what way this can turn. You can also click the link buttons here to link a particular element to the thing below it. So like I was showing you eyeball X, I can link that to eyeball Y, which will then create like a 2D space so that her eye will move in multiple dimensions at once. Generally, this is what you do after you've set your individual parameters for the motion so that you can then move them together. So if I look diagonally up and to the right, it'll deform both X and Y at the same time, things like that. So, if you're interested in like the super bite-sized version of this, again, recommend Kappako's channel. I can Kappako channel. I'll grab a link to their thing, put it in the chat here. You can see it on stream a little bit. I'll probably try to do like the annotation thing if I have time. But if not, just search Kappako channel and you'll see what I mean. It has a few very bite-sized digestible pieces, and then you can look for more detailed tutorials if you're interested in that sort of thing. Hi, people. It's just a lot more work to get everything going, so I will do my best. But we've still got a ways to go before we're done with cutting. So hopefully you appreciate it. Kind of rambling talk through. It will definitely be better organized next time. Or at least by the time I finally get to like really doing some rigging in here. So, Tatsu, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Are you ready for trying?
Yes, I am.
Okay. In that case, I will also, something I noticed when I was trying to show you the texture atlas is that if I have pop-up windows, they don't actually show up in my window there, like for our stream. So like for example, if I'm showing a deformer, like when I hit create warp deformer, you don't actually get to see the window I'm working with. So I've got to add a lot more and figure out how that's gonna work. So I'll probably add like a bunch of windows next time. And interestingly, like even though I closed the texture atlas, for example, like you can still kind of see it here, even though like I have closed it. So I need to figure out a couple things with getting that to work. And yeah, I also have to figure out if I can get a free trial for the pro version, since obviously I'm gonna end up having way too many layers for the free version and too many deformers. Like my eyes alone are gonna have probably like 6 or 7 in each eye, just because of all the highlights and things like that. So we'll see. I have a lot more studying to do. I hope you found today interesting. Stick around, or if not interesting, then at least relaxing. And I hope you at least learned something. If you want to see the end of our Trine 2 journey, please stick around for that. We might also start Trine 3. But yeah. So for now, I'll see you around next time. I'll have to do some more studying to make sure that the next time we meet in Live2D Cubism Editor, I can really show you what I intend to do and actually get some work done. But right now, I just don't have enough cut finished to really get into that. So, and again, interested in making your own VTuber and you're also going through the cutting process like I am, you don't actually need to cut quite as detailed as I am, but I'm doing it because I really want a lot of dynamic capability in my result, and I want her to be super fluffy and her hairs and everything to move very, very nicely. The less work you put into the cutting, the easier it is to rig, but the less dynamic your motion will look. So make sure that you pick a good balance that works for you in terms of how much you want to cut and how much you want to rig versus the actual work you're going to do. That said, thanks for everything, everyone, and please stick around if you're interested in the conclusion to Trine 2, and if not, I will see you around in another stream. Please take care, be safe, and thanks for all of your support.